Welcome to SilverC Review. I'm in a kayak, yay! This podcast has an introduction, a movie review, a movie recommendation, jokes and quotes, and an Inside the Introvert section. They will all be listed in the description down below, like the time segments, so if you want to watch a certain segment, just feel free to watch what you want. And this will be my first one from a kayak. I think it's looking pretty good. Fixing to start paddling away from this bridge. There were actually a few spots I wanted to do around the bridge, but when the cars pass over it, it's a fairly busy road and it gets pretty loud, so instead I'm going to use it to do my kayak. I probably won't do too many more from my kayak during this part of my life. In a few months or so, I'll be hopefully in a different location, and I can do more from my kayak. There's areas here that I could do, but I have to pay $5 to park so I can launch, and I just don't feel like paying the $5. I mean, if I was going to do that, I'd rather do the SoundCloud subscription, so this will be the only one for a little while. But, I mean, there's lots of places I can do around here. I just won't do any more from my kayak for now. So anyways, we're going to go on. Just had to be a muscle car going by that was loud. See if I can get away from this bridge and road a little bit. Movie recently I watched, Yu-Gi-Oh! 3D Bonds Beyond Time, kind of hard to say. Giving that one a 5 out of 10. It's only 50 minutes long, so I mean, essentially it's just a long episode, and I didn't know it was that shallow here. But, I mean, it was decent for what it was, but it was worth a watch, I guess. Trolls, giving that one an 8 out of 10. It's in my collection. See how loud it is? Even from here, if I was directly underneath that, that'd be loud. Very good music and trolls. It's very well animated, and it's got an excellent story, so really like that movie. So anyways, we are going to go on to our movie review, and I don't know, here, I'll try this. Hopefully that's enough frame to put the thing there. Maybe I'll just do it small since the camera's so close to me. Which, speaking of, I'll come to that in a second. But anyways, it could be Infinity Wars, Avengers Infinity War. And I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. There will be spoilers. There is a lot to spoil in this movie, and it is a big movie, so definitely don't listen to this if you haven't already seen it, because I will be talking all about the movie and not hold anything back. So definitely spoilers. Anyways, something whenever I get to do audio only, a lot of times I have to vary the distance I am from the camera, which affects the audio, in order to get the scene that I want. Man, my chair keeps falling, or my back support keeps falling down for some reason. It's probably because I'm not in my kayak like I should be. I have to vary the distance from my camera, and it really affects the audio, whereas when I'm just recording audio, I can have something right by my mouth the entire time, and I'll just take that one picture, so that'll be really good. So anyways, on to the movie review. Like I said, major spoilers. It was a little confusing of a start. I don't know if, like, Ant-Man or won't be Captain Marvel, but I don't know if they're going to kind of play on this or if I had forgotten something, but it was just a really weird start, the way that they already had Thor and Loki captured, essentially, and had already destroyed wherever they were. I don't know, I feel like I'm missing a little bit of something from one of the other movies, but that was kind of weird. It was really hard to believe that Loki was actually killed. I mean, especially with the way they keep bringing people back in the Marvel MCU, Marvel Universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, I'm still not overly sold that he's dead, but apparently he died right there at the beginning. It was definitely a very early Stan Lee cameo. Usually he's kind of later in the movie, I think, or maybe it's just completely random. I hope the water's deep enough here for me to cross. I think it will be. It's weird, the water's flowing this direction. I'm almost positive it should be flowing that direction. This is really weird. Anyways, maybe when the water's higher, it flows that direction. Because that connects to the main river. I don't know. This is really low. I'm going to have to put my skeg up. The Iron Man suit that he uses is definitely the most badass Iron Man suit so far. The, what is it, nanobots that he uses, how it just kind of morphs around him is, like, incredible. Like, he's done things kind of similar to that, where he's got his little hand thing that he can use, but this nanotechnology is awesome. The water's flowing against me, and it's shallow, so I can't paddle. Oh yeah, and you get to see my little boards that I'm using. See? Aren't I creative? And I got little Velcro so I can put them on my tripod. And I stopped paddling, and my skeg is down, or skeg is up. There we go. Alright. Oh, and I figured out the last videos, the reason why, I know I keep going on tangents, but the reason why they're so long is because my Inside the Introvert, I don't write a whole lot of text, but since they're all stories, I'm able to expand on them a lot, so I'm going to have to limit the amount of Inside the Introvert I do, because I don't really want these to go over 30 minutes. Just because, number one, my camera stops recording after 30 minutes, and number two, it's just, until I have unlimited upload, it's above 30 minutes is really not that great. It's amazing how powerful Thanos' followers are. I mean, they can easily go toe-to-toe with the Avengers, not all together, of course, but definitely individually, they do a very good job of taking down the Avengers. And the powers are kind of unique, so it's neat watching them fight. I like that. It's very funny, kind of similar to Thor Ragnarok. I mean, Marvel, they really like to do comedy, and they do a very good job of comedy, but some of them are more serious, and I would put this one in kind of a 50-50 mix, like it's a good mix of comedy and seriousness. I kind of feel like the Avengers are at their weakest point. Man, I was not expecting the water to be flowing this way. With it being this low, I don't know if I can make it up this one. I just have to turn around and slowly paddle back. I kind of feel like the Avengers are at their weakest right now when they're facing their biggest threat. 'Cause, I mean, they're essentially broken up, and a lot of them are kind of lost on what they're supposed to be doing, and I don't know, that's kind of weird. Like, for me, this, got mosquitoes coming around me. This movie, I know it's supposed to be huge, and everyone's so pumped for it, and you would think, with Marvel being my second favorite movie company, something tried to get in my eye, that I would be super pumped for this movie, but really, and even watching it, I mean, it's really good, don't get me wrong, but, and did I say I was giving it an 8 out of 10? I can't remember, I don't think I said that. I think I just went into the spoilers, but I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, and, I mean, I don't know, I just wasn't as pumped for it, and even watching it, like I said, it just feels like they're at their weakest, and it's not pleasant to watch them the way they are. Yeah, there's definitely no way I'm going to be able to make it up this. Drat. I'm not even there yet, and we're already having a paddle. It's actually moving at a decent rate. And I can't risk tipping over because my camera's not waterproof. Even though it's shallow, I don't think I could catch it in time. I'm already hitting bottom. Yep, well, we'll just have a nice peaceful paddle back to the bridge. The audience applauded whenever Captain America came in. I thought that was kind of silly. I'm not a big fan of people that applaud movies, or not that I have anything against them, it just seems weird. Like, who are you applauding for? Like, yeah, definitely at a play or something, you can applaud a good performance, because the performers are right there, but like when people clap at the end of a movie, I think that's really weird. So, it was weird when people applauded Captain America showing up. I mean, they knew he was in this movie, so it wasn't like a massive entrance or something. I'm not a big fan, kind of like I said, with the Avengers being at their weakest, I'm not a fan of them fighting between each other. I mean, I know that's kind of where they stand right now, but I don't know. I mean, I've said it in the past that I was a DC person growing up, like with the cartoons and everything. I just realized I haven't really looked at the camera much. I've been looking around. And they do a lot of joking in between each other, but there wasn't, unless something had gone wrong, there wasn't a whole lot of fighting in between them. And I mean, I know they have differences and things, but they always act like a group. And right now, the Avengers don't seem much like a group. Like, I know they kind of work together in the movie, but it doesn't feel like, was it the Captain America movie? I think it was the Captain America movie where they're assaulting the base and they're running through the jungle hitting things. Sorry. And I don't know if you can see that squirrel back there. I'll try backing up at him. Anyways, they're running through the forest and everything, and they all jump at this one point, and it's like it's almost like you could take a picture and it's got them all in midair. And that's kind of why I like the superhero groups, because they all function together as a group, and this one's not fulfilling my group superhero dreams. It's kind of hard to comment on this movie because I get caught up in the comedy or the action, and then I'm just like, oh look, I haven't wrote anything down for like 20 minutes. So, if some of that happens, that's why. I don't know where the squirrel went. He was running up that tree back there. I don't know if you can even see him from here. Thanos' motives are kind of interesting. How he technically wants people to prosper. It's kind of the classic, the bad guy's not necessarily being bad, he's just, the way he's going about things are not considered the right way. And, I mean, who knows, maybe that's the way that things need to be, but, it's a interesting motive for him. It's not just evil, it's actually kind of with a purpose, and, that's kind of like the villain in Black Panther. He had a purpose. It wasn't just evil. He was just going about it the wrong way. It's neat how the Guardians meet the Avengers not only once, but actually twice, because they're all split up. And they actually fight them. And I don't know, for some reason I just always assume on like a power scale that the Avengers are just way above the Guardians of the Galaxy. But when they go against them, I mean, they match them toe to toe. So it's pretty impressive. You hear that weird sound? I mean, I can hear the backing up, beeping noise, but maybe it's just the rattling. I don't know. I like how he does the 1 in 14 million chances that they can actually win. I want to be like, never tell me the odds. Was that Red Skull in the cloak? I'm pretty sure I looked it up, and it is him. I wasn't really... I don't think we've seen him since the first Captain America movie, and I didn't grow up looking at Captain America stuff, and I'm not really a big Captain America fan, because he's just kind of superhuman, so... Oh, it is some sort of machine over there that's making that weird noise. Oh, there's the squirrel. But anyways... it was kind of weird to see him there and in that position. I was like, is there probably something that I missed in the first Captain America movie that would have told me why he was there? Gamora's death is kind of sad, but when it happened, the only thing I could think of is why when people fall and they land is their leg always bent? It's like every place, like unless they're falling on a car, and even then, one leg is always bent for some reason. It's just, I don't know, very weird that everyone lands in that. It was kind of like a cliche way to land, so it took away from the moment. And again, kind of hard to believe she's dead. We'll talk about that towards the end, though. The big battle that goes on is like, it feels Lord of the Rings epic. I mean, there's so much going on. Kind of like the big battle in Star Wars. When you've got, whatever the creatures that Jar Jar Binks is, fighting all the droids, and that was awesome. And their weapons, how it was like electrocuting them, really cool. Same thing here, it was really neat. I kind of wish, I feel like maybe this movie, the reason why I wasn't quite as pumped as everyone else watching it, is it's hard for them to show each little nuance to the Avengers' powers. Like, I mean, their powers are really cool, and I think that's why I like the movies that are focused on them, because it's cool the different ways they can use their powers. Like, my favorite action hero is the Flash, and I like Flash, Green Arrow, and Green Lantern, because, I mean, they've got amazing powers, but they are very, very good at using them in ways that people don't expect. Like the Flash creating like tornadoes if he runs around, or taking down tornadoes by running the opposite way. He can actually vibrate his body so slowly that it makes it seem like he's dead. And Green Arrow, using all the different, I love like the punching glove and all the different arrows he uses, and the Green Lantern, all the different shapes that he makes his ring into, and the shields and things. And I like people that have flashy powers and have a million different ways to use the flashy powers. And in this one, there's just so much going on that they're just pretty much using like the biggest well-known parts of their powers. And I mean, at least what's his name? I don't know what his actual name is. The guy that's in like the Hawk suit. He had 3 of those little baby hawk things instead of just 1 this time. And I mean, some of the stuff is kind of noticeable. And of course, Iron Man's suit is freaking amazing, but which I've already said, and I will say it again. But I don't know. I guess there was just so many people you couldn't show them all off, and that's part of what kind of distracted from the movie. Maybe why I wasn't quite as pumped. It was super lame whenever he had to hit Thanos because, or when they almost had the glove off because he was mad about him killing Gamora. I mean, that was really cheesy. I mean, I know he was angry and everything, but I just didn't believe that he was the kind of person that would be taken over by emotion. And even if he is, he's not going to do anything by hitting him in the face. I mean, if he pulled out his gun and stuck it to his eye and fired, then maybe I can kind of believe that he was literally trying to kill him. But just hitting him like that and ended up waking him up, he should have known that that wasn't going to do anything at all but mess them up. And with them screaming for him to stop, it's just, that was really lame. I didn't like that. Because, I mean, they essentially would have defeated him right there. And I know that's not how they could have had it for the movie, but I feel like they could have found a different way to make him foil their plan to stop him. I definitely thought Iron Man was going to die, and his little fight with Thanos, I mean, his suit is just so cool. Like, it's regenerating and building, like, big fists, and, like, when he hits, his legs expand out to give him more power, and it's really cool. I wish he had that suit in the Iron Man movies so I could focus more on it, because it was neat. But yeah, I thought he was dead. I thought I had heard, or maybe there was speculation that he was going to die, and yeah, when he was in that area about to be, or he was already stabbed, and I kind of wondered if he was dead at that point, and then when he was about to do the finishing blow, I thought for sure he was a goner. But he wasn't. Spoiler. This current doesn't like me sitting here. I don't want to face that way. It was nice how all the battles come at the end. Like, you kind of had the slower part of the movie, and they didn't just do it in the middle and then end on like a slow note. Like, they kind of built up the entire movie to the end, and that's when the big battle comes in, and when they're doing the battles in between each other. And it also transitions very well between the battles. Like, you had the big battle and then the battle between Thanos, and it did a real good job of switching between them. Even without the last stone, I feel like he's still impossibly powerful, and I guess he needed the last stone to complete his plans, but I mean, I feel like there's no one in the universe that was probably going to be able to stop him even if he didn't get the last stone, so it was kind of silly that he was even going for it. But he got it. Shaky camera. All of a sudden I flip and my camera gets wet. I was not a fan of the slow motion fight scene. It just seemed silly, like they just all happened to be lined up so he could hit them all away, and they weren't really using any of their powers or anything, and it was just, for a Marvel and for the cost of this movie and everything, it seemed kind of goofy. And it wasn't, I don't know, for some reason it didn't hit me like I feel like they wanted it to hit me, like it wasn't a dramatic scene, like he wasn't killing somebody or something like that. It's just kind of silly. So, yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. I was not aware that this was a two-part movie, and I think I heard back in 2016 that it was a two-part movie, but then they don't have it labeled as a two-part movie, and technically they're saying it's not a two-part movie. They're saying the next one will be different, but the way this ended was stupid. I had it at a perfect 10 out of 10 throughout the entire movie, and then the ending hit, and that's what made me take it down to an 8 out of 10. I mean, again, this is kind of like on the Black Panther when they kill him, they want us to believe that he's dead. You can't, when you've got other movies coming out and stuff, you can't just say that half the people in the MCU are dead. Like, I understand that they're wanting to move in a different direction. These actors they cost too much to keep acting or to keep paying them for these movies, and they're wanting to kill off certain ones. That's fine, and I was expecting to lose some big heroes in this movie, but to do it like they did and to pick all the people they did, like Spider-Man's got another movie coming out, so they're obviously going to have to undo some part of what he did, which makes the ending kind of meaningless. And I don't know. I mean, now I guess if it was labeled part 1 and part 2, I'd at least be expecting it. But since it caught me off guard, because I didn't know. I thought this was all one movie. It's really frustrating for them to technically end on a cliffhanger. I don't like movies ending on cliffhangers. If you want to end the series episode or something like that, even the series finale, you can end it on a cliffhanger. I can kind of understand, but a movie, I'm just not a big fan. Like, I can understand opening it up for sequels and stuff, but literally ending a movie on a cliffhanger that's not advertised as a part 1 of 2 and part 2 of 2 is not cool. And for being a Marvel movie, that really annoyed me. Ooh, I'm going sideways. Right into the shore. There, we went down a rapid. If you can call that. We went down a riffled water. How about that? Yeah, I'm moving much faster than I want to be moving. Whee! So yeah, not a fan of the ending. It really hurt my movie score. People loved the Black Panther. It was a huge hit, so for him to be dead, I mean, with them just coming out with the Black Panther movie, that's incredibly unbelievable. Doctor Strange has only had one movie, and as far as I know, people liked him. He's barely been introduced. Apparently, he's very powerful. Was he killed? I guess he wasn't actually killed in that thing. Yeah, I shouldn't have even brought him up. But even, like, I can kind of believe the 4 people that died before that happened will remain dead. But even then, Loki's known for finding ways to come back or for tricking people, and he's like a fan favorite. People love him, so for him to be gone is a little weird, unless they're going to do some spin-offs that don't relate to the MCU. And Gamora, I mean, she's technically trapped in the stone, so it's possible she could come back. Vision, he may have been downloaded, so they might be able to bring him back. Heimdall, he's probably dead. I can understand him being dead. I feel like he should have been dead a long time ago. But the other ones, it's hard to believe, so... And with the way they are, I just don't know if I should believe it or not. And now I'm stuck waiting until next year, which, I mean, I'm not the kind that sits around on message boards and looks at theories. I don't like thinking about theories, because I would rather just know what happens. So I'm better off just forgetting about it altogether, and then when the next movie comes out, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see that so I actually know what happens, instead of trying to theorize what actually happens. Some of the characters were left out, like Ant-Man and Hawkeye, and they give reasoning for why they're not there, but they don't really, I'm not really sure why they're left out. I know Ant-Man's got a movie coming up, but I don't know why he couldn't have been included in this movie. I'm not sure if that movie takes place before, technically, this one. And Captain Marvel also, the after credit scene, you see, what's his name? No, can't remember his name. Whoever the main guy is that started all the Avengers, you see him hit a button and it calls Captain Marvel. So I guess she's already associated with this movie, but I think her movie takes place in like 1990 or something, so it's definitely before this one. But I wonder if she will be appearing she'll probably be appearing in the next one if there's a truck with a trailer. Since he hit the button, and she'll be like real time wise, her movie will be way before the next Avengers. So she'll probably be in it, but Ant-Man's kind of weird. I don't know how that's going to work. I think that's about it for the movie. It's just, we know that the heroes that were killed aren't actually going to be killed, so why even make it like that? Why leave it on a cliffhanger like that? I wasn't expecting a cliffhanger, so it made me angry. So that's it for Avengers Infinity War, 8 out of 10. We're going to go on to... Is there like a whole bunch of people driving by all at once? I was just thinking in my head how quiet it is. We're going to go on to the movie recommendation. This is going to be the Fantastic Mr. Fox 2009. And this is a stop-motion animation. And I wanted to bring it up because one of the movies I'm going to be reviewing soon is Isle of Dogs. And it's by the same person that did the Fantastic Mr. Fox. And I loved the Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's got a very witty and quick-minded humor, and the stop-motion kind of claymation type animation it's neat. Like, it's not something I hate, it's not something I love, but it worked well for this. And it's funny, it's got a good, fun story. And the description says, after 12 years of bliss, Mr. Fox breaks a promise to his wife and raids the farms of the human neighbors. Giving in to his animal instincts endangers not only his marriage, but also the lives of his family and their animal friends. When the farmers force Mr. Fox deep underground, he has to resort to his natural craftiness to rise above the opposition. And, nope, that's pretty much it. It's a fun animated movie. Alright, I'm back. I hit my 30-minute mark. I didn't really watch where I was, but I think I was describing, hopefully it didn't shut off too much. I'll just repeat this last quote. Sunshine all the time makes a desert, and you can't expect everything to be good all the time. If it was, you just wouldn't be able to appreciate it. You have to have something to compare it to. And that's kind of like saying you need the rain and the storms to appreciate the sunshine. And it just, when you're in those dark times, don't think it's going to last forever, because nothing lasts forever. And it doesn't matter how bad things get. The future is just crazy, and things that you will never... Yikes. Alright, that slightly worried me. It's a snake skin. Pretty big snake skin. Hopefully you can see it. I thought it was an actual snake, though. There's tons of water moccasins around. So anyways, even if you're in your darkest time, it will not last forever. The things that will happen in the future are things you can never imagine, and it'll just blow you away, something that can completely change your life. So even if you're in a dark place, just hang in there and keep doing your best and keep fighting, and it'll get better. And either look back on times that weren't as dark as they are right now, or look forward to times that won't be as dark, and they will come. So it'll, if anything else, just know that when things do get better, you'll be able to appreciate them that much more. Because if it was just good all the time, we wouldn't know what to do. I mean, it's kind of, like I've discussed, kind of the problem with our society as it is right now, is things are so good that people just look for things to go wrong, and they look for things to complain about because they don't have enough. Anyways, on to the jokes. I gave my dead batteries away, free of charge. And I child-proofed my house, but the kids are still getting in. Alright, I'm so close to the camera, that might have been super loud. Let's quickly finish up the Inside the Introvert series. I've already hit my 30-minute mark. This kayaking takes a little bit longer, because I keep going off subject. I had to, I talked about in the last podcast how we're doing the meetings twice a week, and for whatever reason, maybe they think we'll know the information more or something, but they're making us actually present it, kind of like we're the manager. And she came up to me and asked me to present this last time, and I just went ahead and did, which is being introverted, one of my least favorite things to do. And it's stupid because she just gives me a piece of paper, and all I have to do is stand up there and essentially read from the piece of paper. I don't have to know anything about the numbers, and the majority of the numbers don't even apply to me, and they really don't really apply to the stuff I work on, so everything about the meeting is pointless for me, but so they just kind of make me participate, so I'm in line with the other employees. But anyways, I had to present, and used to I would be nervous for like days before I had to do something like that, but now I kind of save it all up until right before it happens, and I'm not sure that's a good thing because it seems to affect me even more. But I'm also not that great at standing up for long periods of time. I actually have passed out once before when I was in church when I was younger. We were actually trying out a brand new church, and we were standing up during prayer, and I locked my knees and just standing there for too long, and the next thing I knew, I felt really nauseous, and I sat down because I had no clue where the bathroom was, and I don't remember anything after that. My mom said that she heard some kid hit his head really hard on the pew behind her, and she was expecting some kid to cry, and she looked over, and I was kind of laying there, and when I woke up, I still felt really nauseous, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I ran out into the hallway, and luckily we found it in time, and ever since that, now that I know that it's possible that I can pass out, I'm always freaked out about standing up, and especially when I'm having to do something like talk and give a presentation. So I was doing fine reading the stuff and everything, but for some reason I started getting hot, and I had been standing on one leg most of the time, like most of my weight on one leg, and when I switched to the other leg, I could feel the blood kind of moving around, and that freaked me out, because I mean that's technically how you pass out, is from cutting off the circulation and stuff. So then I started getting worried, and it was kind of like a mini anxiety attack, and all I wanted to do was like curl up in a little ball right there on the floor. And but it's fine. There was a cabinet behind me that was really cool, so I put my arms against it to kind of cool myself down, and I managed to get through it. And mainly I wanted to keep talking, but it was the manager had taken over like people that had questions, and they were just on this long spiel, and I was like, if I can just keep talking, I think I'll be fine. It'll take my mind off of standing up here. So, definitely a introverted moment that was not that great. But I made it through it. I talked about the second end of the year party last podcast. The first end of the year party was way worse. I had only been with the company for less than a year, and when I went, I had no clue what to expect. And I got there, and I couldn't figure out where to sit. And like I said, I wasn't quite the company photographer at that time. I was just someone who had kind of been taking pictures during the events and stuff we did, and definitely no one knew who I was or anything at that point. And so I went to a couple tables, and every table I went to, they said they had people that were coming to sit there. I was like, okay, and I went to like 3 tables. So I went back up and asked someone, one of the main, the higher up people that I actually knew, and I said, are the tables reserved, or is there seating somewhere, or where am I supposed to go? And he just said, oh no, you can go anywhere. Well, some help that is. So I ended up sitting clear in the back, because that was the only place I knew no one had people coming and stuff. And I had wanted to, why can I not move? This is weird. I feel like I'm on something. I am on something. Sorry, I got on a log or something. So anyways, I wanted to sit up front, or up by the front, so I could just sit and take pictures and not have to worry about that. But because I got to sit in the back, I couldn't really take pictures. And I tried standing up, but everyone was sitting down. So as soon as I stood up, people were just watching me. And this wasn't... the other events actually had people walking around and stuff, so it was much easier to take pictures. But this one, everyone stayed sitting down. So I couldn't... The only people that were up were like playing games and stuff. So they were the focus of everyone in the room. And that's definitely the last place I want to be as an introvert, is the focus of however many people were there, like 500 plus people. So I just sat there and pulled out my phone, and the intercom system for this place that we were renting out started messing up. So I couldn't hear our vice president talking. So I essentially just sat there for like 3 or 4 hours on my phone, completely bored out of my mind. And at one point, because they give away a lot of stuff at these parties, like big screen TVs and drones and all sorts of stuff. And at one point, she called my name, but I didn't know what it was for. And if it was for a game, I did not want to go up there, because I don't care what's being given away. I don't play their games. Like, that's just too much. Like, I dress up, and I go up there and do their little costume contests and stuff, and occasionally they'll make you dance or make you say something, and I always dread that. But I don't want to go up there and play games, and not in front of that many people. So I just stayed seated, and come to find out later, she was calling all male names that were there, because she had a whole bunch of male-oriented gifts, and all I had to do was go up there, and I would have received a gift of some sort, and then I just had to unwrap it and show everyone what I got, and it would have been like a line of like 30 guys. So I should have just gone up there, so I missed out, and I was just mad, and the food they served was cold and disgusting, and it was kind of like the softball party I described in the last one, just hours of torment for an introvert, which I am. I was tormented. The last Inside the Introvert, because this one's running pretty long. I'm on the committee that does the kind of parties and stuff like that, because I want to help out. I just don't want to participate in them. But anyways, in our Easter themed one, I'm the kind of person that likes to dress up, because I can express things I like without having to say anything if I dress up. And we have a bunny costume, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely wear that. And I've never been in a mascot costume or dressed like that or anything like that. I mean, you couldn't see, the only thing you could actually see is my hands. And but unfortunately, people still knew enough people in the company know who I am, and my body type is so familiar, people still knew who I was, and I was able to get a little bit outside my introverted shell and kind of interact with people a little bit more, but nothing on par with what an actual mascot would be. And I was kind of hoping I'd be able to just go crazy and not have to worry about that at all, but it didn't quite work out. So I am definitely not a mascot. I have learned that. So that's going to be all for this video. If you're watching, or if you're listening to it, you can watch all my episodes on YouTube, and you can listen to all the older audio episodes on Buzzsprout, and you can view nature pictures and kind of cool pictures on Flickr at SilverC_review, and they're also on Pinterest, and you can find me on Twitter, and I upload my new episodes to SoundCloud, so check me out. That's going to be it. Take care.